What's up everybody, AnimeX here, and in this video, I'll be doing my first Demon Slayer video, and as the title and thumbnail suggests, I'll be explaining and going over the water breathing form as a whole, and then go over individual techniques that the water breathing has to offer. In this video, I will kind of just go over each individual technique and then give my summary of it. It's a new style of video, kind of like the explained, summarizing thing that I'm going to be doing, and it's also a new anime type of video that I haven't actually tried out on the channel. So, a lot of new stuff. If you guys like it, I guess I'll start off with something simple. Let go for this one will just be 20 likes, just because I want to see how this tests the waters. If it gets well over 20 likes, or just 20 likes in particular, I'll make sure to come out with another video doing the exact same thing for lightning breathing, beast breathing, and so on and so forth. So, if you guys like that idea, hit that like button, and, do what you do. But, let's just jump right into it. And so, without further ado, let's get started. Now, the water breathing technique in general has a pattern of moving or relying on movements that water could take in certain situations, and it is also obviously the main reason for a lot of these breathing techniques' name and just the style of which the user fights in. To give an example, some of these techniques require water to already be there to be used effectively, such as a Whirlpool, which is one I'll be talking about in this vid. Some take on the qualities of continuously flowing water that gets, kind of more powerful as more water is added, kind of flowing like a stream. And others take the form of a sharp riptide, cutting through and going through anything that it comes into contact with. Now, you will get the full idea when it actually comes into separate forms, but the actual originator or the main user of it in the Demon Core, or not the protagonist, not Tanjiro, who's the main user of it, but Urokodaki-san is the user, he's the teacher of Tanjiro, and he is the progenitor of this water style. This is, the one that is most used in the series, so we have most information about this. It's a pretty easy one to kind of go over, but that's why I'm going to start this video on this one. So let's jump into the actual different styles, my takes on them, and what they can do. Now, the first style, or the first kata, or form of the water breathing technique, or the water breathing forms, is a water surface slide. This is where the swordsman generates enough momentum to create a powerful slash, a single concentrated slash on an opponent. This seems to have the least amount of rotation or special circumstances needed to use this water breathing form. But it is also one of the weaker ones. I would say it's definitely one of the weaker ones, but it does not require that much setup. This is the first actual kata or style or form that Tanjiro used against an actual demon. So this is our intro to him using his water style techniques, which is pretty interesting. Now, the second style of the water breathing techniques are the water wheel. This is where the swordsman leaps and spins in the air while releasing a flowing attack in a circular motion. This motion is usually vertical, up and down, and this is where they essentially slice off. It could say limbs, you can say slice even a demon in half with this. Now, there is a horizontal form to this, and this was an improvised version that Tanjiro alone has done. We haven't seen any other water breather user, as far as the anime is concerned, use this as of yet. I don't want to spoil too much, but I will use manga things for techniques that haven't really gotten enough showtime in the anime. But the water wheel relies on the spin to gain a powerful force for the strike. Now, the third style is the dance of the rapid current, and this is where the swordsman swings his blade at an opponent in a way that mimics the movement of waves on the surface of the water. This one is pretty easy to see where the water, it takes inspiration from water and waves and that type of stuff, the motion of the water, the motion of the ocean, that type of stuff. This is where it gets that kind of, you can definitely see the inspiration. It literally is talking about the dance of the rapid of the current. So I mean, it's pretty easily one. Same thing for the next style, which is the fourth style, striking tide. The swordsman makes multiple consecutive slashes while twisting their body in a flowing fashion, similar to a harsh tide. Striking tide is also very sharp and quick in nature. Now, this one is also very closely related to water, riptides, that type of stuff. And this is definitely one of the more stronger or more powerful ones because, it kind of uses the twisting and the motion that it uses. It's consecutive motion that uses to strengthen its attacks, which is pretty useful. Now, the fifth style is actually one of the easiest, or it's one of the I'll explain and I'll explain after. So the fifth style is the merciful rain of a dry day. Now, this is where a sword strike of kindness kills the target with little to no pain. This is usually used on an enemy when they surrender or when they've kind of given up hope on a fight. This move seems to not even register when hitting opponents, and if it does, it causes very, very minuscule pain. Now, when it says a sword strike of happiness, or not happiness, kindness, it's basically like where the user doesn't actually kill, or they do kill their opponent, but they don't, the opponent, usually demons, don't necessarily feel pain based off of this. They usually it just feels like this kind, cool, warm thing. Tanjiro has been shown using this once before, and we have seen that it actually does not harm them. Like, they don't feel any pain from it, so it's a pretty merciful thing to do. Now, the sixth style is the one that requires like actual kind of a little bit more prep in order to do right, and it is the sixth style, Twisting Whirlpool. Now, this is where the swordsman fiercely twists his upper and lower body, creating a whirlpool that cuts anything that is caught within it. Tanjiro has been shown using this pretty early in the anime, pretty early in his debut. Not only is the sword like amped when they do this, it creates a literal whirlpool that actually cuts through them themselves. Like, the movement of the water can actually cut through demons and actually incapacitate them in and of itself. This move is also at its strongest when surrounded by water. It can be somewhat used while somewhat used while outside of water, although it's not even close to its full potential when used outside on dry land. Now, the seventh style is Piercing Raindrop. This one's pretty simple. It is just a fast and accurate stab. This is the fastest stab of the water breathing technique. This was seen to be used on one of the fake Mizuki 12, which was pretty interesting. When using on one of the balls that was attacking him or whatever, we have seen that this is a very accurate move for him. It's pretty fast also. Nothing much to it. It is a very simple, quick stab. So, not too much to explain there. Now, the A style is Waterfall Jar. This is where the swordsman cuts the target vertically. This move also literally seems to summon waterfalls and actually slash and hack through their opponents. This can also hurt multiple people at once. As this was shown in the anime, I'll obviously show a clip or a picture of Tanjiro actually using this, and you can literally see waterfalls being summoned, or maybe this is just a visual representation of what's actually happening, but it looks like waterfalls are being summoned and actually slashing through the demons, which is pretty interesting. Now, the ninth style is Water Splash. This is used not actually to attack, but used for actual movement enhancement and that type of stuff. This is actually used it minimizes the landing time and surface needed when landing, allowing the user to move without limits. This is ideal when fighting in a place with no solid footing. Now, this was pretty interesting. This was used when Zenitsu was found, and this was also used when Inosuke was found. So it was a pretty cool debut. It was used when Tanjiro could not find a secure footing, and the room that he was in was constantly rotating. So Water Splash is pretty useful for surpassing the user's physical speed limits, because it actually it lets you land basically without you don't need a surface, and it minimizes the landing time. It also seemingly enhances the user speed along with mobility, like I've already established. Now, the 10th and final style for Tanjiro is the Dragon of Change, a continuous attack that increases in power with each rotation, creating a strong slash. This was used in one of the later episodes, and it was also changed into the Dance of Fire, which I'll talk about later in maybe a different Demon Slayer episode, or a different Demon Slayer video. This seems to be the most draining but yet strongest of the moves, with the repercussion seeming very high. So high, in fact, that Tanjiro was kind of essentially drained of all stamina that he had. Now, I said this was the 10th and final style for Tanjiro. I mentioned that very specifically because there is an 11th style used by Giyu, another water-breathing technique user, which is called Lull or Dead Calm. This is basically created by the water pillar Timilka Giyu, the swordsman. This swordsman basically seizes any body movement and engages in a skill that disables and nullifies incoming attacks. However, its effectiveness is limited, as fast, numerous attacks can break too. As we've seen in the anime, though, nothing has broken through it. This is because it was debut, so yeah, it was a pretty cool showing. This form is made by Giyu, so as of the anime, no one else has this ability, including Tanjiro, the protagonist. So, pretty interesting stuff. Water breathing isn't my personal favorite of the water breathing techniques, although it is very cool, and you can definitely see its allusions to water and like the movement of water, that type of stuff. So you can definitely see why it's called water breathing technique, and why Kodaki-san would call it water breathing, and why his techniques are very useful, because momentum is obviously a big thing, and rotation and movement is also a big thing for the water breathing technique in general. Now, with the 11th form said and done, that is the last form of the water breathing technique as we've seen in both anime and manga. I like making this video in particular since I like Demon Slayer and I think these videos are pretty cool. So I'll have a poll in the cards. If you guys want another video explaining the lightning breathing techniques, I'm going to need this video to get to 20 likes. Also, if I get a majority in the poll, that will also help me determine whether I should do another one as well. And I'll make sure this becomes a regular series that comes out on Saturday, which is the day that Demon Slayer videos come out. And if you have your own Demon Slayer video ideas, make sure to comment those down below, because, you know, I haven't really got too many. I'm really just with these explaining videos as of now. If you are new to the channel and haven't already done so, consider subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss out on more Demon Slayer content. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, this is Anime X, signing off.